Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite new features in Photoshop. It's called AI depth masking, and it uses AI to calculate the three-dimensional space of your image, allowing you to select based on the foreground or the background. Now this is going to help draw more attention to your subject to help them stand out. We got a great tutorial for you. Let's jump into Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop. Now, the first thing I want to do, I'm going to take my background layer and convert this into a smart object so I can edit it at any point in time. So we're going to go to filter and then down where it says convert for smart filters, making it a smart object. There we go. We can see we have our smart object icon and we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and click on that layer. We're going to go to filter and then down to camera raw filter. Now, camera raw filter, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Basically, this is kind of like a Lightroom clone built into Photoshop. It's incredibly powerful. And over here on the right-hand side, we have a lot of editing tools. But the problem, not a problem, but a limitation, is this is just going to simply affect our entire photograph. And there's a lot of times when you don't want to do that. You want to just affect your subject or maybe just the background. Now, if you want to download the sample image and PSD and follow along, you can do so. It's totally free. Just click on the link right down below so you can follow along. All right, let's get into our masking tools. So we just saw how working with our exposure or any of these other settings is going to affect our entire photograph. Now, what happens if we only want to affect our subjects? We're going to move into our masking tools. Let's go ahead and click on masking. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit so we can see our whole image. Now, here we can select our subject, we can select our sky, we can select based on landscapes and objects, but what we're going to focus on today is AI depth masking. So let's move here where it says range. We're going to make a selection based on range and we're going to move into depth range. All right. Now, once you open up your depth range, you're going to see this slider. You're going to see something that says show depth map. It's a little bit confusing. We're just going to turn this depth mask on, but nothing really happened. What you need to do first is actually hover over top of your image and you're going to get an eyedropper. So once you hover over top of your image, click on where you want to select. So let's go ahead and click. Now, keep in mind, this is based on the depth of our photograph, okay? This isn't based on identifying a subject versus the background. It's using AI to calculate that depth. So if I click here on my foreground, you're going to see it's going to select my subjects because they're in the foreground. If I click on my background, it's going to select our background. Now, the cool thing here is now that we've selected our subjects and I've turned show depth map on, I can go ahead and filter this. I can expand this feather just a little bit to select more if I want to, or select less. Like if I wanted to just select my subject's faces, I could do that just like this. So using this little gradient, I can actually make selections with my image and I can continue to select more or less. Now, this comes in really handy when you actually make some edits. So let's do that. I'm going to turn a show depth map off, and now it's time to just brighten up our subjects. So we're going to go over to our exposure tab and let's bring our exposure tab just a little bit brighter. And you can see, awesome, we're just editing our subjects at this point, okay? So earlier when we saw it was making our entire image brighter, we didn't really want that. But by making our subjects a little bit brighter, all of a sudden our image looks much better. We're going to move here into our shadow levels and bring up our shadow levels as well. I think this looks really great. Now I'm going to scroll down to where we see our effects tab. I just want to add a little bit of texture. There we go. And a little bit of clarity. This is kind of going to work like some sharpening. So our subjects are going to be a little bit sharper than our background. Fantastic. So we can just turn this off. You can see we have our first mask. I can turn this off and on at any point in time. Look what a difference that makes. It's so awesome. We can also do this with our background. So let's create a new depth mask. We're going to create a new depth mask. Boop, there we go. And then right here on depth range, click on that. Now again, just use your eyedropper tool to hover over top of your photograph. Let's go ahead and click there on our image. And you can see if I click on show depth map, boom, you can see it's based on the background. Now here, what we're going to do, I'm going to scroll down and we're going to, for instance, protect our highlights just a little bit. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. We can take our exposure and bring that down just a little bit. I want to add some color in here. This is some really nice greens, but they're looking a little bit kind of like yellowish brown. They're a little bit washed out. So let's go ahead and go down to where we see color. I like to add a little bit of green tint there. There we go. Let's go ahead and bring our color temperature up a little bit. There we go, something like that. And we're going to go into our saturation as well. Fantastic. Now, another really good tip for you, I like to go into this tool called Point Color. You can open this up and use an eyedropper to select a certain color in your image. And then keep in mind, this is only going to be in our background because we've already created our depth mask. So with the background, now I've used my point color to sample this color, and then I can adjust my hue, saturation, luminance, and variance. So I can actually go in and adjust my hue a little bit more green. I think looks great. Let's grab our saturation. Fantastic. I think this is looking really good. And we can even work on our luminance there in the background. Fantastic. And if you work with variance, a little bit of variance is going to kind of pull it all towards the same color. But if you bring your variance up, it gives you a little bit more variance in your color, making your image a little bit more interesting. All right. Now, already I think this looks really great. Let's click on this icon to show our before and after. There we go. Already we're looking good, but honestly, we can improve this a little bit more. I'd like to add a little bit of a gradient right on our subject's face and make it brighter. It helps us draw our viewer's eyes towards our subject. So we're going to do that. Let's click on our masks, make sure we're still on our masks. We're going to create a new mask and we're going to go right where it says a radial gradient. There we go. I'm going to just click and drag out. There we go. Looks really good. And then here on our exposure tab, we're just going to bring this up just subtly. You don't have to go super far, just a little subtle brightness right where our subjects are. I think it's going to look really good. Okay. Now we're ready to move outside of our mask. Let's go ahead and click back on our regular editing tools, but honestly, we still have more we can do to make this image stand out. The first thing I want to do is add a little bit of a vignette. It helps us darken the edges of our photograph and it draws more attention to the subjects. So you can do that here really easily. Just make sure you're in your general editing tools. You're going to go right, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go right where it says optics. Okay. Optics, and then here you're going to grab the vignette slider and just click and drag this to the left just a little bit. And you can see it kind of just darkens the edges just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy with that. Okay, now I like to add a little bit of background blur as well. You can see the background already is out of focus, but you can increase that a little bit here in Camera Raw. It's a really great effect that brings more attention to your subject. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go into lens blur. Let's pop that open. Click on apply, and then you're going to want to use this targeted icon to click and drag right over top of your subject's face. Boom. It's going to make sure your subject is in focus. Now, here where we have this blur amount, you can actually just adjust your slider to look at that. How awesome is that? So we can add a little bit of background blur. If we're being honest, if you go too far, it's not going to look that great. It won't look very realistic. So I do recommend adding a little bit. Just don't go crazy. It's going to keep it looking a little bit better. All right. Now, when I add those type of effects, honestly, I like to go in my effects tab and add a little bit of grain, especially if I'm using like a AI lens blur or anything like that. My results tend to be a little bit more realistic. So grain is a great thing to add. Okay, now we're ready to go. Let's click on OK, and you can see it brings it, boom, right back here into Photoshop. And here we can do anything else we want. We could do some retouching. I could remove a little bit of paint on our subject if I wanted to. I think it's totally cute. But what I do want to show you is that remember when we started, we made this layer a smart object. And here we can see our smart object icon. So check this out. Because we did it as a smart object, I have now smart filters and my Camera Raw filter. So I can just go to this little visibility toggle and I can turn this off and on at any time, basically showing me my before and after with editing this. And the cool thing is if I double click right here on the Camera Raw filter, it brings me back into Camera Raw and all of my editing settings are still intact. So I can go to any of these masks and I can make changes at any point in time. Okay, you can make some changes. I'm going to hit just cancel because I think it already looks really good. But now we're back into the full build of Photoshop and I can continue my editing from there. So you can see just how powerful these tools are. Now, don't forget, if you want to download and follow along, you get this JPEG as well as the PSD. It's totally free. Just click on the link right down below. That's it for today's tutorial. If you want to get more free tutorials to learn photo editing, simply click on subscribe. We'll send you one every single week. Thanks again. I'll Phlearn you later. Bye, everyone.